This is what happened. Rob, we'll touch base next week because I need to discuss this with you. It don't matter the restaurant I picked up from, because the man was top of the line, professional, respectful, wanted to give a good impression, told me how this was a very good customer. I delivered to an Amazon warehouse. It don't matter which one. And I've been there, well, several of them. I've been there at least a few times each. And when I picked up, the man, after a few minutes, he felt me out. I've been there before. I picked up from this place many times. It's a privately owned, quality food kind of place. $725 worth of food. I had 3 bags. And one bag had a half a tray rice pudding and utensils and stuff. The other 2 bags had 1 box, 4 half trays of the shallow half trays, and 2 half trays of the not width, depth trays. So it was an order that I could easily deliver myself, even if I had to carry them into someone's office. I don't take orders that I have to question if I can handle it or not. And, they were working, and the workers were working with me. They know my face and hello, and I stood to the side. I had my bags. They have their rolly table. They bring it out with you to your car. I did offer, I do have my own cart. He gives me his card. He goes, I'm doing it a little by little. I'm looking for delivery people, independent contractors, 1099s, simple. I go, oh, really? I said, wow, thank you very much. I repeated his name. I said, this is who you are. He was a pleasure to meet you. The workers knew who I was, but I never met this man before. I'm assuming he's running the show, either a manager or his place. He was very busy, but he made the time to talk to me a little bit. He told me he was looking for drivers. They want to hire people in-house, and I don't blame them. Because if they could get that type of business and get, a handful of good delivery people that, this is something I've thought about many times. What would happen if I had a small to medium sized catering order, my car broke down or something happened, anything really that I can't get to the drop off. Who do you call? Now, that's happened with other apps, and they say just discard the food and you can't make it. It does happen. Twice, I think out of all the years I delivered, twice my car stopped. I had food in my car. And, but you're talking about a small order. If you get a handful, say a half a dozen great delivery people that can work together, each have each other's numbers, each have each other's backs, it's more personable. You could call up the place. Oh, you know what? I got Steve on the way, Michelle. Just stay right there. He has your location. He'll complete the delivery. Then you can split the pay. There's nothing weird about it. Somebody has your back. So I said, oh, thank you. He said, this is a very good customer. I don't want my trays slanted. This is important to tell you because this guy was really into improving his business little by little. And I was like, that's so refreshing because most people don't understand the concept. They want instant gratification. And we went like this to each other while he was working and multitasking. He was so nice. So I took his card. I said, thank you very much. He said, come back in a couple of weeks. He asked me, do you live here? Do you live in Long Island? I was like, well, yeah, I live in Freeport. So then I get the food. The worker brings the food to the car with me. She's really nice. He introduced me to his staff. I repeated their names so I could remember them and his. And they were like, it's so nice. The lady was like, it's so nice to meet you, Michelle. I think they're expanding and they're getting better and they're getting busier. It's good quality food. Okay. You get the vibe. The owner cares. He wants to improve business. He wants to increase, revenue, boost revenue. He said this was a good customer, please don't tilt my food. Please this, please that. Not a problem. And he liked me and he gave me his card. So now I get to the Amazon warehouse. I put the 2 bags on my cart and then the real light bag with the rice pudding and the extra stuff on top. I roll it in. I deal with a security guard that he wouldn't let me in the building. He didn't want to do his job. And when I walked in, I was like, hello. He could barely stop looking at his phone. He didn't stand up. He wasn't overly concerned about a non-worker walking into the front of the Amazon warehouse where you have to show your license. You have to get signed in. If you have to go into the back, he just came up. He goes, I'll take it for you. And I said, well, just hold these 2 handles on top of the handle of the cart. You can roll it right in. He was like, no, I don't need the cart. And he just grabs the bags and they're slanted and they're tilted. I was like, sir, they don't want their food tilted. He goes, I got it. I was like, you can leave it on the cart. They don't want the food tilted. The security guy was not, he just didn't care. He was like, tough, you know. He might as well just said, tough, I'm doing it anyway. He grabs the bags. He slowly walks to the back. He comes back. He goes, you need these bags back? I was like, yeah, they're my delivery bags. So I wait patiently. I'll say 2 minutes go by. He comes back and I go, we don't have my bags. He goes, they'll bring it out. They're taking out the food. And I was like, well, I was supposed to set up. He was like, well, I'm making your job easier for you. No, you're not. You didn't want to do your job. You didn't want to, go through. I was like, make sure you have your license on you, Michelle, because they have to scan you. I get it. No, you didn't want to do your job. You wanted to take a shortcut. You didn't want to perform the task that you're getting paid to do. But he was back on his phone so quick. It just left, it reminded me of my last job it was a real eye-opener for me. I never worked among that many people before. I've always worked for smaller privately owned places and kept a job a long time. I mean, I could, count half my hands how many jobs I've had for a few decades. Just the way it was. And that's who I was for a long time. People suck. They take shortcuts. You work hard, you make them shine, and then when they do your job, they do half of what you do, and they get recognition. And I witnessed it over and over and over again. They would tell me, you don't need to do that. Don't do it that way. Meanwhile, now I shop at stores that I go, that's the way it should be done. That's why I come here and spend a little more money, because that's the way the product should be packaged. I could go into more detail, but the point is, the people who did half the work and made it look like it was a fake, it made it look like it was done right. Meanwhile, they weren't doing all the work. They were taking shortcuts, which in the long run hurts business. It just pissed me off. So now somebody comes down with my bags. They're holding all of them like this. They didn't even fold them up. Like they took some of the hard bottoms, and it just, I don't know if it was set up properly. I told him I had to set it up, and he was just like, I'm making it easier on you. And that's how he spoke. I'm making it easier on you. I don't do nothing all day, and you know what? I swear to God, this is what he said to me. I just sit here all day. Gives me something to do. But he wouldn't use my cart. He wouldn't, everything was piled up. Why wouldn't you use the cart? He grabbed the bag. Bag went sideways. Boxes went sideways. I don't know what he delivered. It does, see, that's where it's upsetting. With an app, why bother telling them that? It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter to a big app thing. I listen to Saying It Like It Is often, and he talks about large fast food chains. They don't care. They get by. They skate by. It's not a privately owned place. Now, if I was working for that man directly, this man told me, this guy's a really great customer. The person you're delivering to is a good customer. And he liked me and gave me his card. I would have called my boss up in a heartbeat and said, this is what happened. I don't like the way I wasn't allowed to deliver the product, and the way he told me there's a setup required. I wasn't allowed to do it because the security guard didn't want to check me in the right way. And you're claiming that I'm making it easier on you. I want something to do. I needed to do my job. You know, a boss, a small privately owned, boss, owner would have called the customer and discussed that with them. The app's not going to do that. The app's not going to care. Nobody's going to call the Amazon warehouse and say your security guard didn't allow our delivery driver to enter the warehouse to set up the food properly, because they don't care. He's right saying it like it is. They don't care. So I'm considering it, and I'll be talking to you, Rob, because this man's obviously looking for a handful of good people that we could all work together. And I'll squeeze in 5 deliveries a month. Because it's a little far, but it's not too far. And it's good to have a handful of really good delivery drivers that work for you directly, that you all can work as a team. This guy obviously wants to expand his business, make sure that his product is being delivered properly, respectfully, with giving a good impression. That security guard, the way he was just holding the bags and just kind of walked back there and oh my God. But when he came back to the counter, couldn't wait to look at his phone again. I believe I made my point. I babbled on for 11 minutes. It was just it disgusted me. I could see why these places are trying to figure out not having to use the apps to deliver when it comes to, catering size orders, delivering hundreds of dollars worth of food. I get it.